Konnichiwa, I'm John Hornick. Welcome to my Japanese Faves series where we'll cover every major type of Japanese food. This lesson is Buta Niku Kinpira Gobo, or pork tenderloin and stir-fried carrots and burdock. Stir-fried carrots and burdock, called Kinpira Gobo in Japanese, is a comfort food standby in Japanese homes. I decided to make this dish because I spotted burdock, or gobo in Japanese, at my local Whole Foods. To make this dish a complete meal, I added pork tenderloin. Pork is Buta Niku in Japanese. Cooked according to the Pork Tenderloin Master Recipe, which is lesson 25 in my cooking course videos. You could use grilled or stir-fried chicken or shrimp instead. The burdock should be scraped, not peeled, because there's a lot of flavor close to the skin. After you julienne the gobo, soak it in water and vinegar so it doesn't turn color. The goal here is for the carrot and burdock to maintain some crunch, so don't overcook them. I don't know of a perfect substitute for burdock, but celery may have a similar crunch. So let's start cooking. Okay, the first thing we're going to do for this dish is we're going to preheat the oven to 450 degrees. Now we're going to mix the sauce that we use in the stir fry. We have the shoyu, or Japanese soy sauce, the mirin, the sake, and the Japanese brown sugar. Now, this is not that easy to find, so you could just use regular brown sugar, light or dark. I like the Japanese brown sugar if you can find it. And then we want to mix that up thoroughly, breaking up that brown sugar in there until we get it nicely mixed. Okay, now we're going to mix the Dijon mustard and the sake to slather on the pork. I've already put some Dijon mustard here in the bowl. How much? Enough, okay? You look at how much pork you have and you say, I need enough of the Dijon mustard to slather over that pork, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to add a little sake to it. How much of that? Enough so that we get kind of a slurry. If you just use the mustard alone, when you sear the pork, it can burn and get gummy. But if you add the sake to it, it slathers on there better, doesn't burn, and so you just want to put in enough to get like a liquidy mustard, right? Okay, then what we're going to do is put the pork in there and get it coated in the mustard mixture, okay? All right, now we're going to sear the pork, and I have about a tablespoon, maybe a little bit more than that, of olive oil in this pan. I've brought it up to be hot. How do you know it's hot enough? It's shimmering. You're just starting to get whiffs of smoke, and the oil will start to retreat somewhat from the center of the pan. What we're going to do is add the pork to the pan, and then we're going to give it some seasoning, a little salt, a little pepper, and we're going to sear this on both sides. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, we're going to turn it over, and we're going to season this side while the other side sears. All right, let's see how we're doing on the other side. Oh, beautiful. Okay, now what we're going to do is put this in the oven. We're basically cooking for the, according to the Pork Tenderloin Master Recipe, and that means we do 9 minutes at 450 degrees, and then we turn it over and do 3 more. Okay, our pork has been in the oven for 9 minutes. We're going to turn it over and put it back in for another 3. Now, I mentioned that this is the Pork Tenderloin Master Recipe. In my course, Learning to Cook Like a Pro, One Small Plate at a Time, I think this is lesson 25 or 27. The Pork Tenderloin Master Recipe is a pretty reliable way to cook a pork tenderloin. Okay, here's our pork. It's been in for the other 3 minutes. Now we're going to rest this in a warm spot for 3 or 4 minutes, and then we're going to slice it. Now, before we, while we're resting the pork and before we slice it, what I want to do is drain the julienne of the burdock. This is the burdock. It's cut into julienne pieces. They're about 2 inches long, matchstick size, like a thin French fry. And these have been soaking in water and vinegar. The reason is if you don't do that, they'll turn color, they'll turn brown. So this helps to maintain the color. So what I want to do though is I want to drain the water out. I don't want to blot them dry though. So we're going to drain the water out, leave them damp, and that's going to help in the cooking when we put them into the wok and stir fry them. So let's drain that water out. Okay, here's our pork. It has been resting for about 3 or 4 minutes. We're going to slice it. Looks perfectly medium, good. And we're going to slice this into slices that are about 1/4 of an inch thick. Okay. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to take them off the board, put them back in the pan, keep them warm until we're ready to plate up. All right, now we're going to do our stir fry. Okay, so we're going to put about a tablespoon of sesame oil into the wok and about a tablespoon of high smoke point oil. I'm using avocado oil. And we want to get this hot. So I'm going to put it on medium, maybe slightly higher than medium heat. So we're just getting to little whiffs of smoke out of the wok there. We're going to add the carrot and the asparagus and the burdock. And we're going to let these stir fry for a bit till we start to get, till they soften, we start to get a little bit of color. Okay, we've got some great color on these vegetables, on the asparagus, carrots, and the burdock. Okay, now what we're going to do is turn down the heat to pretty much low heat. Okay, and then we're going to add the sauce. Now, we're going to let this cook until it is till most of the liquid has been evaporated. And we're going to add some sesame seeds. How many? Nice distribution. So it looks good, okay? No particular precise measurement, all right? And then we're going to add some of the ichimi togarashi, which is a spice powder, basically. And again, don't overdo it with that, all right? It's about, use about the amount that you'd use of pepper. And we're going to let this cook until the liquid is mostly evaporated. I'm going to have it on low heat. Okay. All right, now it's time to plate up. So we're going to put our divide our vegetables up into our 2 serving dishes because we're serving 2 people tonight. Okay, and then we're going to add some pork. So let's arrange some pork slices on the top. Okay. Then we want to give a few grains of sea salt on the pork itself. And then a little bit of Sancho pepper. And we want to garnish with scallions. And there we have it. That is okay, let's show that to the camera. Okay, all right, and this is Buta Niku Kinpira Gobo, which is pork tenderloin with stir-fried carrots and burdock. You can see photos of the final dish on my Instagram, which is @Chef's Apprentice, Cook Like a Pro. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.